So Henk, of course, we've read the story that I had written about my growth experience previously. And, you know, that challenge of when it's not leaping forward, when you put so much effort in and all the ducks in a row and it's absolutely perfect, yet it's still not leaping forward to where it should be, kind of chugging, I suppose. And probably like many entrepreneurs, we do exactly the same thing, which is throw a lot of money at marketing, sales, the message isn't getting out there, and then we realise that perhaps it's down to something else. And in the case of the story, I talk very much about that purpose and that united flywheel within the company. Now looking back on it, it seems pretty obvious, especially as I wrote that. Why do we miss it? Why do we miss the power of purpose, of alignment, when we look back on things and it's so obvious to sometimes what the problem is in growth?
I think it's to start with. I think it's because a lot of people just don't know it. They're not aware of that there's such thing as purpose and values. We talk about it. When you talk to an average entrepreneur, they don't think about mission, strategies, vision, because that's all abstract. You want to be in business. You want to work.
Yeah.
You want to do something, because when you do something, it gains something. That's when you tell they tell salespersons, here we invested, new colleagues, go and sell.
Yes.
But selling is, for example, much easier when you know what the values in your company are, because you know what value you're bringing to your customer.
So where does it go wrong then? Because even sitting here, it makes total common sense, but there's something. Where do we lose that moment from day one where, you know, that first customer who buys our product, well, where does it sort of dilute?
Yeah, that's I think it has to do with trust in yourself also, because we're money driven, action driven. It's about working, it's about making money, and when you go to the purpose part, it's something you can't touch directly, and you have to believe that you can grow by doing this, and then money is a result.
Is that how you would refer to what true purpose is? And I always laugh because you go around, if you had 10 entrepreneurs in the room and you say, please write down your purpose, there'd be a mixture of, well, like me, there'd be sales, achievement, market share, and very fixed goals. So what's the difference between that sort of purpose and true purpose that you're referring to, you know, that will give that flywheel of your business that faster turn?
Yeah, the true purpose, it has to do with what's really important for you as a person and as a business. Because you can't sell safety products if you don't care about safety. You could sell them because you're a salesman, but when it's not your purpose, you don't believe in what you're selling.
Yeah.
It's about belief, it's about the biggest values you have, the things that are most important for you. Because what's most important for you, you want your customer to have also, to gain also.
That's the real connection, isn't it? I mean,
that's the connection.
Yeah, that's why you start it. I mean, it's not because you want to work 80 hours a week and stuff like that. It's why you start it, because you're so passionate about what you have, being able to affect the life of somebody else.
Yeah, affect the life of someone else, of your customer, add value to your customer, and your purpose says something about what's important for you, and that's what you want, what you want someone else to have also.
It was sort of clear in that example of the story that I tell that, you know, somebody asked me, you know, does everyone know your purpose? Does everyone know the purpose of the brand to the customer? My automatic reaction was yes, as if to say, how dare you ask me this very question? And I just think, why is that? Why would I have such a defensive way of viewing that? And how can I look at it a little bit more subjectively, objectively?
Yeah, I think that has to do for a part with being vulnerable. It's when you're an entrepreneur, you're the boss. You know, everybody expects from you, you're knowing where to go.
Yeah.
But sometimes when you share your thoughts with your team, for example, and they know where the challenges are, you can enrich each other. Sharing the value, sharing the purpose, agreeing on that. Because when we're all walking the different directions, we're not getting in the same place.
No. You know, I talk about that moment of market leadership, of gaining that ground so rapidly, but actually the triumph of that whole story, like you say about money, wasn't that. It was the fact that I was more free, the team were more happy, the customer, because that's what we measured it on, was having a greater satisfaction for sure. What's your viewpoint on that? I mean, how true is that? Is that chance, or is that, you know, a real outcome?
Yeah, we could downsize it very easy.
Yeah.
Because to make a very stupid example, when your aim is making money, you could sell bread, shoes, cars. So when I get in a bakery as a customer and there are shoes standing there to buy, I don't have the feeling I'm in the right place.
No.
So that's non-alignment.
Yes.
That's a stupid example, but that's what happens.
No, I think you have to be clear with that. You know, let's go for business alignment. Yes, you can't suddenly, you know, and I think that's a good point, because I think entrepreneurs go, I must sell something.
Yeah, I must sell something because I want to make money. So when we go back to this bakery, when this bakery has a clear purpose, so I come there as a customer, and I'm looking for a special bakery.
Yeah.
I don't want normal bread, because
Yeah.
I walked in a special bakery with special products. So I expect something. And that's where the alignment is.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, it's exactly. And that's that power.
That's
and
the power.
You can absolutely
And
see
the customers who just want to buy a bread, they can come in.
Yes.
And they can buy a bread. But you're looking for this customer avatar who knows what your purpose is, and who knows what he's coming to buy at your place.
quite a few of our interviews with people on a very specific question, which is if you could give some of our female entrepreneurs the greatest advice, and maybe your points have provoked a few pointers that they may go into work or their business, maybe look at a few things slightly differently, or fill in the questionnaire to have a look at their alignment now. What advice would you want to give if you had to give a couple of pieces to the female entrepreneurs that are listening now?
My advice would be that the true quality of you as an entrepreneur would be that you believe in your special purpose you have to deliver, because it's there.
Yeah.
But you need self-confidence, trust, belief in that it's there, and trust and confidence in following it, because it's much more easier to do what everybody expects.